So we'll be using Google Earth Pro, and in this case you can see here and on the map of the UK that the herds have already been identified for us. But if you wanted to identify new herds, you could use Google Earth Pro in the same way, so you could sort of just scan the landscape, look for herds, and then identify if power lines were present or absent in the vicinity of the herd. So, like I said, sort of the herds here have been place marked. You can see the little pins. So if we go to, say, herd 29, there we go. You can see you've got the aerial view of the cattle, and each herd has been place marked and encircled with this circle. So all the cows within this circle are considered to be part of that herd. And if you look down here, you can see that the date of the satellite image is recorded here, but you can see that this doesn't match the date that you've got here. So what you can do is you use this slidey bar, so the date is the 6th, the 5th, 2016. So you go back, there we go. So there it matches the image date. So if this bar wasn't here, what you'd do was go to View, and then you'd click this Historical Imagery. And what that does is it allows you to slide this bar, and so therefore it matches the imagery date. So once you've done that, we're going to measure the angles of all the cattle in the herd relative to geographic north, and then we're going to correct that for declination. So in order to measure the alignment of the cows, we'll be measuring the angle of the long body axis, and this is partly due to the poor resolution of satellite imagery. So if you zoom in, that's sort of as much as you can zoom in really, and you can see that the image quality is quite poor, so it's very hard to identify the head from the rear, so we're just going to measure the long body axis. So here I've zoomed in as sort of much as physically possible, and you want to make sure that you're looking at the herds perpendicularly. So you go to View, and then Reset, and Tilt and Compass. And you see what that has done is you're now looking at the herd perpendicularly. So if you just click away from the herd down here, what you want to record is the imagery date and the longitude and latitude of the field, and you want to record if there are any power lines in the area. So in this image you can see it's very clear. You've got power lines running over the herd, and then down here this is where you record the longitude and the latitude down here. So you just write that down. So to measure the angle of the long body axis, we are going to use a very cool tool of Google Earth Pro. So you go into Tools, and then you click Ruler, and you see that it brings up this box here. So if we just put that there, what you want to do is, you can see here you've got a crosshair, and you're going to place the crosshair over the southernmost end of the animal. So you're going to click, so I'm just going to choose this cow here. So click this the southernmost end, so you just click and let go, and then you drag the line along the long body axis through the cow, and then you click again to let go. And then what you see here is, in this box, it's given you a heading. So this is the degrees, and as we cannot identify the head end from the tail end, all angles will be between 270 through to 0, which is basically 360, and is equivalent to north, and then through till 90, which is east. So you'd write this down here, and And then this is the angle we're going to use, and we're going to convert this angle so that they are relative to magnetic north, because what this angle is giving you here is relative to geographic north, and magnetic north is a more accurate measure. So to sort of do this, you can save it. So you could say cow 1, herd 29. Okay, and then that has saved it here, so then even if you click off it, it will have saved that. So then you repeat that for all the cows in the herd, and if you can't tell where the long body axis is, you wouldn't record that cow. So that's the first part of the methodology. So then what we're going to do, once you've measured all the angles of the individual cows in the different herds on Google Earth Pro, we're going to use this website to convert that angle, which was relative to geographic north, we're going to convert that into magnetic north, because that's a more accurate measure when we're doing this. So it's this website here, the National Centres for Environmental Information, and go to this section here, online calculators. You'll click declination. And then it gives you these boxes here. So latitude always comes first, and then longitude. So these were the values in the bottom right corner that we recorded previously on Google Earth Pro. So the coordinates that they give you on Google Earth Pro are in the DMS system. So they're given in degrees, minutes and seconds, and the seconds are to 2 decimal places. And then later on we're going to convert this to the decimal degrees system. But first let me just give you an example of coordinates. So this was 53, 40, so you do a space in between each one, 47, and then the decimal point, and then 31, so that's your value north. And then you do the same for the second value, so that would be 1, 48, 24, and 1, 6. So this was just the values that I got from herd 29. I've just written them down on a piece of paper. So then what you want to do is you want to select a suitable model. So this one, EMM, is probably good because that covers the range of dates that we're looking at. And then you want to input the date. So it's written in the American way, just to be aware of that. So the date for this one was 6/05/2016. So that means it's 2016, it's the 6th month and the 5th day. So you just have to think about that if you're used to British dates. And then you want it in the HTML format. So then you'd click calculate. And so this has given you the declination. So it's this value here that you're looking at, 126. And so you're going to write that down for each herd that you calculated. And then we're going to convert this. So this is in the DMS system. And we're going to convert that to the decimal degrees system. So what declination basically is, it's adjusting the angle of the animals that you've measured so that they are relative to magnetic north. So if the declination is west, you add it to your value of geographic north, and if it's east, you subtract it. So then what you have, once you've recorded the long body axes of all the cattle in the different herds, and then calculated the declination on the website, this is how you kind of lay it out. You can use an Excel spreadsheet. So you've got the herd number, you've recorded whether power lines are present or not, you've got the coordinates, So you've got latitude first, this one, and then longitude here, the date, which is in the American system, and then here you've got the data for each of the individual cows within the herd. So this angle here will be the one that Google Earth Pro has given you when you sort of dragged the ruler across the long body axis of the cow. That will be this angle. So this is the output that you get from the website. This is in the DMS system. So in order to convert it to the DD system, you do 1 plus 26 divided by 60, and that gives you this value here. And then this is the new angles. These are relative to magnetic north, so adjusted for declination. And these are the angles you're going to use when you're dividing the cows into the different sectors to see if they do have any preference of their alignment of the long body axis relative to magnetic north. So it's these adjusted angles that you're going to want to be using. So then once you've calculated all these angles, there are some things you need to be aware of, because we're only going from 270, if you visualise it sort of on a protractor, you're going from 270 through to 90 because you're not measuring the head or the rear end, it's just the long body axis. So an angle cannot be less than 270, so down here, and it can't be greater than 360 either. So if you have an angle that is less than 270, you correct this by subtracting 180 from that angle. So say, for example, here, if you had an angle of 260.54, you'd subtract 180 from that to give you this angle. And then also it can't be greater than 360. So what you'd do is angles that are greater than this, you'd subtract 360 from them. So example here, you've got 360.59, you'd subtract 360 from that to give you 0.59. And then once you've adjusted all of these angles, what you can do is you can divide sort of these different measures into however many sectors you want. We decided to divide it into 3 different sectors, and then you would tally the total number of cows that are in that particular sector. So say, for example, here an angle of 309.98, it falls within this sector here, and so you'd give it a score of sector 1. You'd then calculate the total number of cows in each herd that belong to that particular sector, so then you have a value of the total number of cows in each sector for the different herds. And as you can see here, you just repeat this for all the different herds, so herd 8, herd 9, and you would keep repeating this for all the different herds, and then that's when you can start doing some stats on that.